Hi, my name is Julie Marks and I will be presenting you my design process for the initial low-fidelity prototype of SpeakBeak, a language learning app. First, I would like you to meet Jamie. Jamie is a 28-year-old Canadian woman who is living and working in Munich. She works for an American company as a customer care manager. In her job, she only needs to speak English, so she never gets a chance to practice her German. She also finds it hard to find time to study because she's exhausted after work and wants to shut off mentally. She commutes to work with the train 45 minutes each way and doesn't feel comfortable speaking the German that she does know in public. What does Jamie want? Jamie has come to a point where she wants to look for new job opportunities, but she's realized she must improve her German to do that. She wants to be able to get by in Germany without having to use English, but she also needs to find a way to practice her German that fits into her busy lifestyle. She also struggles with motivation, so hopes to develop a better vocabulary learning habit. So to summarize these goals, Jamie needs a way to improve her German skills in a practical and contextual way because she finds it difficult to memorize vocabulary in traditional ways, which results in not improving her language skills and demotivates her learning process. In order to help Jamie, we have some ideas. We think that by creating a customizable learning experience, which has different ways to study and review, while also including real-world context, will help offer the relevant material that Jamie needs. To keep her interested in the app, we want to include a social network in which she can connect with friends and compete with them. We also want to make sure that the app can be used on the go and in short sessions, while having a totally customizable study plan. To get a better idea of the frustrations and challenges Jamie feels, here are 3 direct quotes to help you understand her better. I know a lot of German words, but actually using what I know and being confident enough to do so, that is one of my biggest challenges. After work, I am so tired. I don't have the motivation to study my German, even though I know I need to. With other language apps, I started strong, but after a few weeks, I just stopped using them. After conducting user interviews, we began to plan the information architecture of certain user flows from the app. In this case, we began with the user flows of signing up a new user and completing a vocabulary lesson. We chose to start with the onboarding process for a new user, as it represents the first thing the user sees when they open the app, which is crucial to keeping our users engaged. Secondly, we chose to map out a vocabulary lesson, seeing as this will be the bulk of our app and needs to make sense and be usable. To begin designing the interface, I used some rapid prototyping techniques that helped me get ideas down on paper fast. I decided to design flows with the Crazy 8 technique, where I would redesign a flow of 8 slides multiple times to create different ideas. Here are a few screenshots from my first low-fidelity prototype. I wanted to make sure the aspects I was trying to convey made sense and were also usable. In our first set of usability testing, we chose to have our participants complete 4 tasks. Our first task was to sign up as a new user. This was one of our most important tasks to get right, because we needed to be sure that new users will continue to use the app and not leave straight away because of usability issues. Our second task we chose to test was to complete a vocabulary lesson. We chose to test this task because it is the core of our app. We need to make sure the interface design and user flows make sense to our users. The third task we tested was to create a custom vocabulary deck. This feature is very important to the concept of our app, so we needed to make sure it ran smoothly. And the last task we tested was to log in as an existing user. We wanted to be sure that the user flow from the splash screen to the dashboard also worked correctly for existing users. Overall, the usability tests went very well, but there were many issues with clarity. Here I am highlighting 4 of the most problematic issues that arose while testing. One of the most catastrophic problems we found, shown in the first example, was that some users did not see the onboarding screens at all, because there was an option to skip these screens. That being said, we also had some of our testers deliberately choose to skip the onboarding screens. This tells me that we needed to keep the skip option, but also send the new user to the first onboarding screen, where they will understand what it is, but still have an option to skip it if they would like. The second thing we discovered during the usability testing shown in example 2 was the unclarity of the combination study method from our dashboard. In order to make it more clear what the combination method actually included, I created icons for each study method that could be then placed next to each method, and all 3 icons appear on the combination method button. To enhance clarity across the app, I also decided to include these small icons at the top of each study card, so that the users know which type of studying they are doing on any certain card, in case it isn't clear. The third problem highlighted here is the unclarity on the dashboard. The testers were not sure what customize meant, and that it would be through this button that they would create a custom deck. Changing the text simply to custom deck entirely takes away this confusion. We also wanted to make sure it was clear that if the user didn't want to study one of the suggested decks, they also would have the option to search the database for more decks. For this purpose, we added a search button with the instructions "Search our decks" underneath. Example 4 shows a problem we uncovered during the Create a Custom Deck task. In the first example, we have a highlighted word and an arrow pointing down to the deck below. This was confusing to the testers because there was too much going on. To fix this problem, I added an Add button next to the highlighted word, and when the user clicks Add, the word will then appear below on the new list. I also added country flags next to the word suggestions so that the user can be sure they are choosing the correct word in the correct language. After only 1 round of usability testing, our work is far from finished. There are many features that I would still like to add to the app, which include a social network with a competitive aspect to keep our users motivated and coming back, an interactive user progress page also to increase motivation and help show the user what they are accomplishing, and the integration of a photo bank so users can add photos to flashcards. This is very important for the customization aspect of our app. For the second round of usability testing, we would like to test the following 4 tasks: add a photo to a flashcard, complete a listening lesson, view your progress, and connect with friends. Throughout this project, I have learned a lot about myself as a designer and where my strengths and weaknesses lie. One of the most positive aspects for me was completing the user interviews in the early stages of the course. I used my strengths in communication to help me get as much information out of my interviewees as possible. I also really enjoyed learning the entire UX design process, step by step, as we did in this course. It was a good way for me to understand the process in a logical way and understand the importance of each step. Another skill that was so valuable for me to learn was rapid prototyping. The Crazy Eights method is a fantastic way to get ideas down fast. I also found the usability testing extremely insightful and fully understand its importance. It is amazing to see how different people will use and understand an aspect of the app in completely different lights. On the other hand, I also have acknowledged a few areas that need some improvement. One thing that is holding me back in my design process is definitely my perfectionism. I often feel that I have to have the button drawn perfectly or fix the placement of an icon, even if it has absolutely no effect on how the app would be tested. This is something I am very aware of and I am working on reducing. Secondly, I have realized that I often get stuck with one idea in my head and am unable to work around that. The Crazy Eights method has helped me here immensely, and I'm working to continue this progress. Another issue I had to battle with was my unrealistic goals for the time frame I was given. Having a lot of ideas is good, but it is important that I always keep in mind the time that I have and to tailor my ideas around that. So, thank you very much for listening to my presentation, and I hope you have a great day.